All right, diving right in today, we've got this article you sent over. Investment Strategies in 2025. How to Seize Opportunities in a Changing World.
Oh, yeah.
And get this, Day. It's from a publication called Text Calais,
Hmm.
which apparently means pasted text in French.
Okay.
Kind of quirky, right?
That's kind of
But
good.
hey, it's 2025. You're looking to make some smart moves, and this article seems to be packed with them.
It really does. And, right from the start, it makes this point that we're at a real turning point when it comes to investing.
Okay.
Like technology, global shifts, this whole demand for sustainable returns. It's all changing so fast.
So no more just like picking stocks randomly.
Definitely not. This article really stresses the need to be informed, strategic.
Got it.
And that's really what we're doing here today, unpacking those insights so you don't feel overwhelmed.
Perfect. Now, I gotta say, one thing that really stood out to me was how the article goes beyond just Bitcoin. When it talks about digital assets,
Absolutely.
it's more than just crypto, right?
Yeah, it dives into this whole world of DeFi, decentralized finance.
Hmm.
And, of course, NFTs, those non-fungible tokens that are kind of everywhere now.
Right.
It's like another way to think about your portfolio, beyond just the traditional stocks and bonds.
Okay, but isn't cryptocurrency still like a roller coaster?
Well, there's definitely volatility there,
Yeah.
but that's why it's so important to really understand the technology behind it and the regulations, too, before you jump in.
Makes sense. Now, speaking of new and exciting, the article also mentions something called CBDCs.
Yes. Central bank digital currencies. It's this fascinating concept where, countries are exploring digital versions of their own currencies. It could really impact the global financial system.
That's huge. I definitely want to hear more about that. Now, another thing that stood out was the focus on sustainable investing. And it's not just about green companies anymore, is it?
No, not at all. The article zeroes in on what they call ESG factors. Yeah, environmental, social, and governance. So it's not just about being eco-friendly. It's about investing in companies with strong ethical practices, good corporate governance.
So basically, you can potentially make money and feel good about where it's going.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is a lot of these ESG funds are showing they can offer competitive returns, sometimes even better than traditional funds. And they can also reduce long-term risk.
Okay, so that aligns perfectly with what you initially requested for this deep dive. Now, the article also touched on emerging markets, obviously high growth potential. But probably more risk too, right?
It's a balance for sure. Asia, Africa, Latin America, they're all experiencing this rapid growth. But the political and economic landscapes can be unpredictable.
Right. So what's the best approach there if someone's interested in exploring those markets?
Well, the article suggests maybe focusing on specific countries or companies within those regions and doing your research, really understanding those unique risks and opportunities.
That makes sense. Of course, we can't talk about 2025 investing without mentioning tech. I mean, those big players are still
Probably going strong, right?
Oh, absolutely. But this article actually goes a little deeper, It highlights these specific sectors within tech, like AI, robotics, cloud computing, 5G. These are the areas really driving innovation, and they're likely to see significant growth.
Okay, so are we talking about picking individual stocks in those areas? Or is there a way to diversify?
Well, instead of trying to pick winners, in such a fast-moving space, the article recommends considering index funds or ETFs that specialize in technology. That way you get that broad exposure, but you're also managing your risk.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Now, I have to admit, with all this talk about tech, I was surprised to see the article still making a case for real estate in 2025.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like, while the rise of remote work has definitely challenged commercial real estate,
Yeah.
residential real estate is still considered a pretty stable investment.
And the article even highlights these crowdfunding platforms as a way to get involved, even if you don't have a ton of capital.
Oh, so you don't need to be like a millionaire to get started in real estate anymore.
Exactly. It's opened up a lot of possibilities.
I like that.
But, of course, the article also stresses that interest rates play a big role in real estate.
Yeah.
So it's something to keep an eye on for sure.
Good advice. So we've covered a lot of ground here. Digital assets, sustainable investing, emerging markets, tech, real estate. Seems like a lot to consider. For building a portfolio in 2025,
It is.
any suggestions for making sense of it all?
Well, the article suggests something you might already be familiar with, actually. Index funds.
Okay.
And more specifically, ETFs.
Right. Those are kind of like
Okay.
the old reliable, right? Low cost, diversified.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Makes sense. But are they,
yeah.
I don't know, are they still relevant with all these emerging trends and everything?
That's where it gets interesting. The article highlights this growing popularity of what they call specialized ETFs.
Focusing on specific uh, high growth sectors.
Mm-hmm.
So like AI, healthcare, renewable energy. You get the benefits of diversification, but you can also, target specific areas.
I see. I see. So you can still kind of be strategic with it.
Exactly.
That's good to know. Now, even with a relatively passive approach like ETFs, the article still stresses the importance of what they call active management. What exactly does that mean?
Yeah, it basically means you can't just set it and forget it.
Right.
Even with a long-term strategy, you need to kind of stay informed, adapt to the changing landscape.
So you're saying even with a good plan, I still need to, like, keep an eye on things.
Exactly. The article really emphasizes this need to regularly review your portfolio, make adjustments based on economic events, sector trends. Think of yourself as the captain of your financial ship,
Uh-huh. Okay.
constantly navigating.
I like that. That makes it sound a little more adventurous.
There you go. Speaking of adventure,
Yeah.
the article ends with some really thought-provoking points about these key factors
Yeah.
shaping the investment landscape in 2025. And one that really jumped out at me was the rise of AI.
Oh, yeah.
Not just as an investment opportunity itself,
Yeah.
but as this force that's going to transform pretty much every sector.
Right, right. We talked about that a bit earlier with those AI-focused ETFs.
Yeah, exactly.
So even if you're not directly investing in those AI companies, you still need to understand how it's going to impact, the companies you are invested in.
Precisely. It's about seeing that bigger picture and understanding those ripple effects. And speaking of interconnectedness, the article also brings up another trend we discussed, the growth potential of emerging markets.
Yes.
They specifically highlight Asia, Africa, and Latin America.
I'm definitely intrigued by those regions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned before, it's important to approach those markets with a balance of optimism and caution.
Right. High reward, high risk.
Exactly.
What else does the article say about those markets?
Well, they point out that as these economies develop, there's going to be this huge surge in demand for goods and services, which creates a lot of opportunities for investors who get in early.
So it's about identifying those growth areas.
Yeah.
And finding those companies that are, well-positioned to benefit.
Exactly. And they even suggest looking beyond just the big multinational companies, maybe considering smaller local businesses that are driving innovation in those regions.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like finding those hidden gems before everyone else catches on.
Right, right.
And the article even mentions some specific sectors that are particularly promising, like renewable energy in Africa or tech startups in Southeast Asia.
I see. So I'm sensing a theme here. Knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Especially in this rapidly changing investment landscape.
You got it. And that brings us to another trend the article highlights, the growing adoption of digital assets.
Okay.
They believe that cryptocurrencies, DeFi, NFTs, they're all going to continue to disrupt traditional finance and offer new avenues for investment.
Even with all the volatility and uncertainty we see in the crypto market right now.
It seems so, yeah. They argue that these technologies have the potential to revolutionize how we manage and invest our money.
Okay.
Think about the possibilities out. A decentralized financial system, accessible to anyone.
Wow, yeah.
With an internet connection.
That's a powerful idea. But I have to admit, I still find this whole world of crypto a bit daunting. Where do you even begin?
Well, the article stresses the need for regulation and greater transparency in the crypto space, which I think is essential for wider adoption and for stability. As these technologies mature and regulations catch up, I think we'll see more opportunities for everyday investors to get involved with less risk.
So it's kind of like the early days of the internet. It took some time for things to settle down.
Exactly.
For people to understand it.
So we've got AI disruption, emerging markets on the rise, and this continued evolution of digital assets.
It is a lot.
There's a lot to wrap your head around.
Yeah. But I think what's coming through is 2025 is going to be a year of dynamic change and exciting opportunities.
Absolutely.
For those who are willing to adapt and learn.
I completely agree. The article encourages readers to stay informed, be proactive, embrace this evolving landscape. And that's what we're doing here, right? Helping you navigate all of this.
Exactly.
So what are your initial thoughts? What's resonating with you the most?
Well, honestly, I'm feeling a mix of excitement and a little bit of overwhelm, to be honest.
I understand.
It's amazing to think about all these possibilities, but it's a lot to process.
Just like being handed a map to this vast uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Exciting, but a bit daunting too.
Exactly. I think that's where the value of this deep dive comes in. It's helping me break things down and
Yeah.
start to see how they could apply to my own goals.
That's great to hear. And remember, it's a journey, not a race.
Right.
Investing in 2025, it's about continuous learning and adaptation.
So it's less about finding that perfect investment strategy
Yeah.
and more about developing the skills and knowledge
Exactly.
to navigate whatever comes next.
It's about becoming a lifelong learner in the world of finance.
I like that. That's a good way to think about it. Speaking of empowering,
Mm-hmm.
the article had this really interesting section about, it was this idea of what they called the knowledge premium
Oh, yeah.
that's woven throughout the whole article. But
Yeah.
basically, it boils down to this idea that in a world where information is constantly changing and technology is like disrupting everything, the people who are going to thrive are those who are committed to continuous learning and adapting.
Right. It's not enough to just have money to invest. You need to have the knowledge and the mindset to navigate this crazy landscape.
Yeah,
It's almost like information itself is becoming a valuable asset.
exactly. And what I really appreciate about the article is it's not just giving you a list of like hot stocks to buy, it's encouraging you to become a more informed and engaged investor.
I completely agree. And they even end with this powerful call to action, urging readers to master the art of investing. I love that. It's not about luck or following the crowd. It's about really honing your skills and developing a way of thinking that'll serve you well over the long term.
So bringing it back to you, what steps can you take to master the art of investing in this new landscape? What really piqued your interest from our deep dive today?
Well, based on your initial request for this episode, it seems like exploring those emerging markets could be a good starting point. Or perhaps diving deeper into the world of digital assets and understanding how those technologies are evolving.
It's exciting to think about all the possibilities, but I also want to be smart about it. What are some concrete steps I can take to make sure I'm not just jumping in blindly?
That's a great question. The article emphasizes the importance of due diligence. Whether you're considering a specific company, a new technology, or an entire market sector, taking the time to research and understand the risks and potential rewards is crucial.
So I shouldn't just jump on the bandwagon of the latest trend.
Exactly. It's about being informed and making decisions that align with your overall investment goals and risk tolerance.
That makes sense. I'm also curious about how to actually manage my investments as things change. The article mentioned active management, but what does that actually look like in practice?
It's about staying engaged with your portfolio, even if you're using a relatively passive approach like ETFs. It means regularly reviewing your holdings, monitoring market trends, and being prepared to make adjustments as needed.
So it's not just about picking the right investments at the start. It's about staying informed and adaptable over time.
Precisely. And that's where resources like financial news websites, investment podcasts like this one, and even online communities can be incredibly valuable. It's about surrounding yourself with knowledge and insights that can help you make informed decisions.
I like that building a network of knowledge. That feels less intimidating than trying to figure everything out on my own.
Exactly. Investing doesn't have to be a solitary endeavor. There are so many resources and communities out there to support you on your journey.
That's reassuring to hear. So to wrap things up, this article from Texcali has given us a lot to think about. It paints a picture of a rapidly evolving investment world filled with both opportunities and challenges.
It certainly has. And while it highlights some exciting trends, it also reminds us that investing in 2025 requires a more strategic and proactive approach than ever before.
Absolutely. It's not about finding a magic formula, but about developing the knowledge, skills, and mindset to navigate a dynamic landscape.
Well said.
Hmm.
So as you move forward, what are you most excited to explore further?
Honestly, I'm feeling energized to take a more active role in managing my investments and really embrace this idea of lifelong learning in the world of finance. And who knows, maybe I'll even start building my own AI-powered investment strategy.
Now you're talking. Remember, the future of your finances is in your hands.
And thanks to this deep dive, I'm feeling much more equipped to shape that future. Until next time.